Hi everyone, this is Jody and I'm here today to do my occasional craft with me thing. So what I decided to do is I've been making my annual Christmas cards and tags, and I just thought this final one that I was going to make, I thought I would just sort of go through the process with you. I don't know if I'll actually be able to finish it because generally, like for instance, this one took me all yesterday afternoon, like several hours. This one took me a little less time because I've made similar ones each year. This one took me a whole day last week, and this one took me overnight and a whole next afternoon. Now these are all cards and tags that I'm going to be putting in my Etsy shop soon. For instance, I love to make these collages. There's a little story about why I make these collages. My mom was a crafter. I think that's where I got the crafting bug. And when I was very small, probably 8 years old, and we lived in Deerfield, Illinois, there was she had a very, very dear friend who was a major crafter, and they used to craft together and go to crafting things. And there was a rage back then to take pictures and cut them and create 3D pictures. And she taught me that when I was about 8 years old. And the way they did it is at the time, they cut the pictures with manicure scissors. They would take a picture and cut it all apart. And I was trying to find the one that I have of my mom's, but we're sort of reorganizing our house, so it's put away in a box for now. But so they had what was called silicone glue in little tubes, and they would make little balls and they would build upon the picture. As you can see, this one is built up. Well, I've done my version of that. I now create everything in threes, pictures like this fashion plate lady that I have. I made her into 3 different pictures and I cut them out, and then I take certain parts of the picture and make it into the 3D collage. So I'm going to put these to the side, and then I'm going to show you what I decided to work on today. So I decided to use this image that I intended to use anyway, because this is a graphics fairy image from the premium website. And so if you wanted to sort of make one yourself, you could find that image on the website. And then I did organize this much more than I usually organize all of my my projects. Mostly I start with the image and then I start rooting around in my stuff to find the background. So I sort of did some pre-work for this one. For instance, this is the image that we're using. It's this Santa. I did print 3 of them, and I did go ahead and fussy cut the parts out that I want to emphasize, just because you don't need to watch me fussy cut. It's a matter of picking and choosing what parts of the picture you want to bring out to make it have a little bit of a depth. So, and then what I also did is I do a lot of work with circles as background, and I did take a piece of music and just cut out this circle, and then I always back my circles with some cardstock just because it gives it some weight. In fact, everything is printed on cardstock. This is all cardstock. I do make these all out of a kind of a cardstock. I'd say it's a medium weight cardstock. It's not very heavy, but it's not thin either. And then I found this old bit of a placemat that is very stained and with glue. I don't know how I did that, but I don't think I can use it for anything unless this part's covered up. So I thought, oh, that would be perfect. And then I found this from an old 12 by 12 12 by 12 card stock scrapbook paper pad, and it was this piece I found in my stash. These are from 49 and Market. I don't know if they're still in print, but they make these wonderful cardstock backgrounds. I'm sure they're for scrapbooking, but I use them a lot in my fairy cards and my Christmas collages. And then I found this scrap that I had printed out last year. I'm trying this year. All of the things I've made are from things I printed out last year and didn't make into anything. I've not printed hardly anything new, just a few things. And then I have this little stack of stuff that I don't even know if I'm going to use it, but this was also in my things that I pulled out from last year that I just decided to try to see if I could use them. And then finally, I have a little pile over here. I do have some mica. I have a bit of doily, and I'm sort of picky. This is a nice doily. It's got a heavier weight to it. It isn't flimsy. They're harder to find nowadays, but this was actually a heart doily, but I do rip it apart. It has nice crevices and things. These are hollies that I created from a bit of, it's somewhere in the graphics fairy, there's this little bit of holly. I don't know where, but because I made these 10 years ago, and I just put 15 to a page, and then I fussy cut them, and I've sort of perfected fussy cutting them. I do it pretty fast, but, and then I do ink them on the edges to cover any white spots, and then I do paint them with Mod Podge to give them some bulk. This is also a graphics fairy holly, and I think this holly's graphics fairy. Actually, I can't remember where I got that holly, but it's from somewhere long ago and far away. And so I've got those, and I've put those to the side, and then I have some circles. I don't know if I'll use them. I think I will use this one. This is a graphics fairy, and this came from a Tim Holtz packet. And so I'm going to put all of those things off to the side over here like that. And then I also have some ruffles that I made from the coffee filters that I save. And there's two kinds of ruffles. These are made from the two round edges of the coffee filters, and I ruffle them up. And this is made from the middle section that doesn't have rounded edges. So I've got those as well. And then I've also pulled out my primitive tinsel, and I do have it in two shades. I have just a little bit of this brown. I don't have as much of this brown. I got this brown from one of my favorite Etsy supply stores, and I will link her below. Her name is Julie. She's amazing. And so I have that tinsel, and then I have this box over here that's full of all kinds of extra things, crinkled ribbon, and all kinds of things that I need to do these things. So I'll be dipping into that. So for right now, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by constructing my base, and I'm going to begin by inking. Oops, look at that. As the ink goes flying across the table. I'm going to begin by inking the edge of this card like this. And I also pre-cut the cardstock, the chipboard to go in between, because I don't want these things to be flimsy. I want them to be sturdy. I have given these to friends in the past as gifts, and some of my friends have framed them. But I do make them so that you could literally hang them or put them in a plate display, something to just sort of put it out at Christmas time on a coffee table or on your table. So this is the back I've chosen, and this is the front. This is once again from 49 and Market. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my glue, and I'm gonna glue just on the inside because I'm gonna sew around the edge of this card. And I'm gonna put a lot of glue on it so it stays down and it doesn't buckle too much. So, and once again, this is just my tacky glue, which I do like to use because I can move it around. So I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna line it up with all the little indentations, and I'm going to, and see, I've gotten some of the Distress Oxide on there, but it'll probably end up being all covered up anyway. So I'm gonna just, and you know, I don't have an official mat to work on. I made myself a board from cardboard and parchment paper that I usually work on, and it's so messy looking, I was too embarrassed to use it today. So for instance, I can sort of move this around to get it in place, and then I'm going to take the back and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take my glue and I'm going to glue it all around like this. Just as much glue as I can get on there, but I don't put it clear to the edge because I don't want to get the glue in my machine, because I'm going to sew all the way around. Now I'm not going to show you the sewing part because, and you don't have to sew it, you can do this all with glue. I want to make that very clear. I just like to sew it because it gives it a nice finished look, and I make a lot of them. Sometimes I forget to sew and I just make them all with glue. And so I'm going to move this one over. I'm going to have to trim it up a little bit, or like I've done in the past, I just ink up the part of the cardstock, the chipboard that's hanging out all over. So I'm just going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over to my sewing machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sew the 3 edges, and I'm going to leave the bottom edge open for a while, and I'll show you why. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back from sewing. I've just sewn the 3 sides, and then while I was over at my machine, I grabbed a piece of vintage music paper and this lovely piece of tea-stained paper. I got this from a shop on Etsy, and I'll link her shop below as well. I work full-time, and there's just so much I can do, and one of the things I don't have time to do is coffee dyeing and tea staining tons of paper, and this was, I don't think I could have made it as beautifully as this paper, so I did buy this from an Etsy shop. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to construct the Santa figure. I'm moving that to the side. I'm going to get my little Santa and the little sweet girl out, and I am going to show you how I construct them. Now, as I told you, when my mom used to make these things, she built everything up with silicone glue. And, but I, early on, just was, when I started doing this way back in college, I couldn't find silicone glue. And so I improvised with little pieces of cut up cardboard, and I've always used that ever since. Sometimes I use foam tape, which is also very good for this stuff, but I find, believe it or not, this is just almost too thick sometimes, so I only resort to that at certain points in the process. But I do ink up all the little figures. I've pretty much inked everything up except the last couple of items, and I'll just finish those up, and then I'll start putting it together. So here we have our Santa, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the second layer, the Santa and the little girl, on, and I've already got some strips. I use all my chipboard. I cut it up. It's just a little bit thinner than the foam tape, and I cut up all kinds of little bits of cardboard. I call it cardboard, not chipboard. And then what I'll do is, and I do use my tacky glue because, as I keep saying, it moves around. And so if I need to move it around, and then I'm just gonna place these all over the bottom picture in different strategic places that'll hold pretty good. And now I leave the only part of the picture, the feet will only show at the very bottom. So I don't put any cards there. I just put them all over, just sort of scattered around. And then I just beat them up. And then I take the second layer and I place it on the first. And I sort of wiggle it around. And you see it's very thin, and you can sort of see, I'll probably ink it up more when I get all done. But for now, I'm gonna just, well, this one's gonna drive me crazy, so I'm gonna do that right there. So that's what I do. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the little girl who I have made, and I did leave the feet on this one because I want her to stand forward and not look like her feet are in the background. So I'm gonna take her and I'm gonna put some of my cardboardy things on her. So I'm gonna take this one, stick it on there, stick it on there. And I like this glue because it's pretty permanent. But it, like I said, it moves around because sometimes I get the things stick out a little bit. And like, for instance, I want to put one on the doll, but it's a little bit thick, so I'm going to cut it down to put on the doll. And I'm actually going to use the thinner one right there. I'm going to just stick it on there like that. See, that one I need to move down because it went over. So I'm going to then glue little dots. Here we go. And then I'm going to take her and very tenderly put her on top of her doppelganger. There. So she's sort of standing out a bit from the Santa. And then I am going to put some on the back, on the legs right here. I'm gonna cut this one down even thinner. And just put a little glue on it. Just a little. And stick it down underneath this leg. Sort of like being in surgery. You have to sort of surgically place things. Okay. Make sure it's lined up. I'm gonna take my finger, and you know, everyone's so good. Everyone has little pieces of like cloth or wipes. I have my jeans, my glue jeans. Okay, so, and then I wanted to have a little bit, see, and I can still move it around because placing the one thing on top of the other thing sometimes causes things to move around a little bit. Okay, there. And then I wanted to have his toy thing and his strap be a little bit prominent. So I've got this really thin one right here that I'm gonna just put on the strap. Hopefully it'll be thin enough. I'm not sure it will be, but I'm gonna see if it will. Yeah, I think it'll work. Well, I'm gonna have to trim it a little, like this, there. And then put some more right here. And some more right here. Put that one right there. I'm gonna have to trim that one off too. There we go. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna glue that on top. Right like this. And on his basket of toys. And I've got to You can see I get very gluey fingers. I do get a little bit quiet when I'm doing this. Now the glue is going to dry clear, but I do try to get as much of it off. And usually I'm not working with such tiny places, but I find that Santas and their toy packs tend to have tiny places that need to be wiped up. Okay. So there he is. There they are. They're all fixed. I think she's still in place. Santa's in place. There we go. Okay, so I've got them all assembled. I'm gonna put them to the side. I'm gonna assemble my circle. And you're seeing, like, I'm already 20 minutes in and I'm a long way from being done. So, I think what I'm going to do is, because I want to sew my circle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sew my circle, and then I'm going to sort of do some layers on my card, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back after a long while because this part is the part that takes so long, and I could literally be here for all afternoon trying to put this together. So this is what I've come up with. First of all, I have layered the main portion of the collage with the tea stain paper, the piece of music, the piece of linen, a little shard of mica, my round thing, and then this thing I found in my Tim Holtz stash from last year. I am trying to use it up, and I did tear off some pieces of doily to go in there, and I do have my piece of tinsel, and I have this old antique crocheted lace that I'm now going to cut because I am going to use that right there. I did tuck up my coffee filter ruffle up in that opening that I left at the bottom. I am going to sew these on to sew them shut. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like get this stuck down. So hopefully I won't change the composition too much. But here we go. I'm going to just lift that off. And while these two things are in place, I'm just gonna glue those down like that. And then I'm going to take my paper. Actually, I'm just gonna put some glue on just to get it stuck down. And I'm gonna put it on. And then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with the rest of the pieces. I'm going to get that on there. I'm going to take Santa and Who's It's off. I am going to take some of my foamy tape and cut some strips. And I'm going to put them on the back of the music to give it a little bit of a lift. This stuff sticks really good. There we go. And then I also, when I put it on, I do give it a little bit of a some glue dots just to help with the reinforcing of it. And then I'm going to put it down like this, just like that. And it just gives it a little oomph. I am going to put my, I'm gonna rummage around. Here's the thing I wasn't prepared for. Oh darn. Okay, I'm gonna turn you off and come right back. Okay, I'm back. So what I did is I got a bit of packing from an old package, and I am gonna put it in the middle of my fabric here like this, but I am gonna use Fabri-Tac so that it won't come off someday, and hopefully that'll hold it on there nice and tight because it's, you know, supporting everything else that's on there. So I'm going to just stick some of that on there. Put that down. I'm going to just put that on like that. There we go. And see, that's not going to show, so the glue showing through isn't going to be too much of a problem. And, oh darn it, I got it going the wrong way. Well, I'm going to have to put the linen like this over here, like that, on that side. So I did it upside down. Okay, so then because this is already raised up, I don't need to put my foamy things on, but I'm just going to glue that down. Like that. So it's going to change a little bit. And I'm going to put replace my Santa, see how he looks. Oh, I like that better. Oh, that was a happy mistake because I like the way the faggoting shows even better. Oh, goody. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna slide that over. That's why I use tacky glue, so I can slide. And I'm gonna put him on there again. I'm gonna move this over, see how that looks like right there. See, I get very ruminative while I'm doing this. Okay, so I want that to show. Okay, good. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna put this behind him right here. So what I need to do is, I need to do that. So I've got to build that up so it doesn't like sink in. So I'm going to get out my foamy tape again, and I'm going to build it up. I'm going to do sort of more than one. I'm going to stack it up on top of each other like that. Pull that away. Let's see if that's enough. I think I need one more. And before I put it down, I am going to not take off the layer that makes it sticky so that I can make sure I've got it in the right place. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So it took 3 of those stacked up. And we're going to put that right there. There we go. And then we're going to put them on here like this. Yeah, I'm going to glue down my mica. Put it right there. Okay, move it up a little. Okay, so they're going to go on there like that. And then what I need to go do is I need to go sew this down and close off the bottom. So I'll be right back again. Okay, so we've sewed this down. I'm going to trim my threads. Sometimes I trim my threads, sometimes I don't. It depends on what the piece is, but I don't think this is a hangy thread piece, so I'm just going to trim those off. All right, so now I'm going to attach Santa and Girl, and once again I'm going to use the foam tape at the bottom to make sure they stay straight. Let's see how that works. Okay, so that, like that. I think I need one more. Just one more. In fact, I think I'm going to take some of this. I'm gonna cut it with my, use my good scissors. Okay, these are my junky scissors that I cut wire and all kinds of stuff with. So I'm gonna take off the sticky tape strip. And I'm gonna stick that on. And then I'm gonna cut it off. There. That'll give it enough height so that, see, now he's even and he's settled on there just very nicely. And then I am going to just take a little bit of some of my little things, and I'm just going to stick them on the back. And you see what I do? I print on, I had my old Etsy shop. I had so many bits of, not bits, whole cartons of paper that I didn't use, like I overprinted or I reprinted or I didn't use something. And I have been devoting myself, I'm getting down to the bottom of it. I'm actually going to have to buy myself some more cardstock pretty soon because I have literally almost printed my way on the back of all of it. I've got little ways to go, but pretty soon I'm going to have to buy some more. So there we go. And he's on there. See, he's on there nice and neat. And now we've got the doily on there. And we've got him on there. There. Okay. So now, okay, so, alrighty. So I did cut a piece of my primitive tinsel, and I'm going to, now I have used this glue to glue down the primitive tinsel, but you have to stand there and keep it stuck down forever. So I'm just gonna go and get my glue gun because it works better for some reason. I mean, not for some reason, it's just obvious. Glue guns go, it sticks immediately. So I'm going to just stick that down right there. There. And there. It keeps it down. And it makes it flatten it a little bit too, which is kind of nice. So there we have most of it. That's most of it. And then I've got all of my different little hollies that I've cut. And I think I'm going to put some of these right there. Then I've got all these hollies that I think I'm going to snuggle in. Now these hollies, when I made them, I have some going one way and some going another way so that I can put them opposite each other like that. And sort of build them up like a holly rope, sort of like that. I kind of like that. I had this number was off my Christmas music, this number 69. I do like that. I like that number 69. And Tate, he did the arrangement of whatever, or I think he wrote the song, whatever it is. And let's see, I'm going to do this. Other thing I like to do is, I don't know, I just have this reinforcement, like, sort of obsession. So I'm constantly reinforcing everything with my cardstock, just because, with my cardboard, just because, I don't know why, just as when I was started making things, I just started doing it. I never saw anybody else do it like I do it. I just felt like things needed to be reinforced. So it's just what I do. And of course you don't have to do it. I think it'll make things be a little bit longer lasting if you do it. I am an inker. I know everybody isn't necessarily an inker, but I think I would like to put that maybe down, let's see, somewhere in here, like that maybe. I've got some more of my, I'm gonna pick up my little pieces. I've got some more of the doily. This is a different doily, and it might be kind of neat to snuggle under some of these pieces. Let's see. Maybe like that. I don't know. Can't decide. Lift it up. That one has sort of that's such an old doily. It has a little bit of a yellowish tinge to it. And maybe I'll put it up here. Oh, I like that there. That's nice. I'm going to stick that there. Just going to do it. Oh, I was going to put my card. Let's see. Let's see if I still want to do this up here. I don't know if I do. I think I'm going to just put my doily up there. There we go. And then I'm going to definitely put these hollies. I like those hollies there. Like that. I'm not sure. Do I want to combine hollies, or do I want to do the same hollies all over the same way? just the same hollies tucked under. Oh, I think I like that better. I'm not sure. Let's see, this holly. There's that one. This one needs to be inked up. And then I probably will go over the Santa with Mod Podge when I'm all done. I probably will. Let's see if I put that holly there like that. Oh, I like that. That's sort of like a nice composition. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick these down right now. Put some of this on the back. This stuff sticks forever once it sticks into place. At least that's what I find. It's very hard to get up once it's down. Once it's down, it's down. But you do have to let it dry. It will move. If you put something on top of it, it will shift. I'm going to do that one like that. It will shift around. So you have to be careful and be mindful. There we go. There we go, like that. Stick them down there. Are they in the right place? Yeah, I like those. Okay, now here is sort of an interesting thing that I found. I'm not sure if I'll put it on there or not. I kind of like it. Right there, maybe. I don't know. Can't decide if I want to do that. Dear Santa. That's kind of retro. Doesn't sort of go with the Victorian theme. And that's kind of... And then I have lots of different crinkle ribbon. In a couple of colors. I have it in this color. Kind of like that, I don't know if I want to use this color or I've got this darker color. Oh, I like that one. And then I also have in here some red tinsel, but that's sort of, I like it's kind of muted. Yeah, it's red and greenish, but it's kind of muted. So I think I'm going to forgo the red tinsel. And I have, now I have a bit of this. That's kind of nice. I think I am going to hot glue that on there like that. I think I am. I think I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to stick my hot glue gun on top of it. I would like, I have been known to sew it on, but it broke my last sewing machine. It killed it. Sewing through hot glue is really stupid. So I don't sew through hot glue anymore. But take my crinkle ribbon and I'm just going to crinkle it up onto the tinsel like this. Alrighty. I'm at 38 minutes. I'm probably going to have to quit pretty soon. Showing you how I do this, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it that it gets done. I'll show it to you later. Okay, so I think I am going to do something here unexpectedly. I'm going to get something I pulled out. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, I have this bag of moss that I love. I'm going to take some of my moss. And I think I'm going to, back, I have to blow it around. I think I'm going to back my hollies with it. I like that. Oh, I like that. So I think I'm going to do that. And then I think I'm going to take, my hands are so glue covered, I'm going to tie a little... Let's see. I don't have enough of this ribbon to do a full bow, I don't think. I'm just going to put that droopy like that. I like that. I don't know what I'm going to do on the top. I usually do a top 2, and I have to stick down my number 69. I think I'm going to do that with my foamy tape. gonna take a piece of my foamy tape and stick it on the back of my 69, like that. Okay, there we go. All right, so I've made a mess. Okay, you can see my big mess here. I've got all this moss stuff. Moss is very messy, but it's lots of fun. So I just wanted to give you a little, I don't know if you call this a tutorial or as a sort of watch me do this quickly, because it does take me quite a while to do these. I couldn't just sit and do it. So I've gone to 40 minutes, and I just hope that this will give you a little idea. You can get this Santa at the Graphics Fairy. It's just tea-dyed paper, vintage music, a little piece of linen, and some fussy cut hollies, which you can get hollies all over the place. And then just crinkled ribbon, old lace, and I do make my own coffee filter ruffles. You can use all kinds. You could use a crepe paper ruffle. That would be pretty as well. I think I will put glitter on her and on the Santa. I will punch some holes and put some eyelets and probably put a ribbon in there. I do like that right there. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing this. And I'm going to be having an Etsy sale pretty soon. Lots of tags, lots of these kinds of cards, just a couple journals. I just really haven't made the big Christmas journal that I planned to make this year. But I'm hoping to get to it next year. And hopefully when I retire from my job, I'll be able to do all kinds of Christmas things every year. But Christmas is my busiest time of year at my real job, so I don't get to do as much. But thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you all have happy crafting times. Bye.